Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Castanes. This is episode 120, season 5, and today's date is April 12th, 2022. And thank you for joining me today. I have an interesting show coming up. Today's program will be about Mr. Donut and my memories of this place. And I will discuss its history and where it is now. Plus, I'll do a wrap-up of last week's post on my page, Chicagoland. And right now, the program will go into commercial. And this program is brought to you by Rock'em Sock'em Robots by Mark's Toys. And here is a commercial from probably mid-60s, 65, 66, in black and white, of course. And this is a commercial I really remember, but I remember the ones in the 70s, so it's almost the same thing. So here we go.
They're slugging it out in the middle of the ring. And there's a hard drive to the top. And Blue Bomber's block is knocked off. His block is knocked off?
Sure, but you can press it right back on again. It's just part of the action with the world's only boxing robots, the Rock'em Sock'em Robots by Marx. Takes 2 managers to handle the fighters and lots of skill to win. With these control levers, you can keep your fighters in motion to duck punches. When you press this plunger, he throws a right uppercut. Press the other plunger, and there's a left jab. Lots of exciting action and fun for everyone when the world's only boxing robots battle it out.
The Blue Bomber's looking for an opening. And there it is. That's the end of round 2.
Just push the flying head back, and you're ready for round 3.
Boy, this is the greatest.
You bet. The world's only boxing robots. Get the Rock'em Sock'em Robots by Marx.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Rock'em Sock'em Robots from Mark's Toys. I'll give you a little history of that and who was that young man that spoke first in the commercial. First, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. They were from the Mark's Toy. They were manufactured by the Mark's Toy Company in 1964, and the name of the toy robots, the red one and the red one was called Red Rocker. The other one was called Blue Bomber. Okay, and the object of the game is you try to punch the other guy, and whoever his head pops up, you win. You win the round. It's like boxing, but at the time, boxing was very, very popular. Sort of still is, but not like in the old days like that. And a couple of trivia items about that. There was a rumor that actor Vin Diesel, he was going to do a movie based on the game, which would be very interesting. I don't know, but I haven't heard any more of it. So, so when you're playing the game, you have the joysticks and you go with the punches. And then like I said before, when the head pops up, you win your round and the opponent loses. So, and let's see, the actor, the young man that you heard first on the commercial, that he was Bobby Buntrock. He played Harold Baxter on the TV series Hazel that stars Shirley Booth, and of course Sport, that was his middle name. And he was a wonderful actor. He did some acting, and then he retired in 1970. Then he moved to South Dakota. And then he died in 1974. He was in a car accident, and when he was driving, the car veered off a bridge, and it was under construction, and it fell into the creek, Battle Creek, I believe. And then it drowned. He drowned in the car, and so that's tragic, terrible. But he's still well known by this role to this day. And they show the reruns on television. I have the DVDs. I still enjoy the show. It's one of my favorites. So as for Rock'em Sock'em Robots, never owned it. Never owned the toy, but I did play a couple times with the kids in the neighborhood when I grew up, and it was fun. I like that. But I don't know if I asked my mother one time, "Can I buy this toy?" She found it grotesque. I don't know. She didn't want that. She didn't believe in pugilism, so I'm glad she didn't. Okay. Today, today I will talk about what I mentioned before in the beginning of the program. I will talk about Mr. Donut, the donut franchise, and also do a wrap up of this week's post on Van Chicagoland. And I will do that first, and then I will talk about Mr. Donut, of its history, my memories, and where is it presently? Where is that franchise now? Okay. So last week's post on my Van Chicagoland page, I found a postcard from the Z. Frank Chevrolet dealership, and a lot of people remember this dealership, like most famous car dealerships, like Burt Wyman or Fenso Tufo or Tower Roads, like that, and Schmiller Ford. There's a lot of them. A lot of famous for their commercials and their advertisements. And this postcard location was 6100 Northwestern Avenue in Chicago, but they moved around a couple of times. One was at 6000 Northwestern, like by Peterson Avenue, and it was in business for a long time. I think around the late 80s, and they closed it. And then I think about a few years ago, they removed the sign. There was a story about that, the Z Frank sign, and I don't know what they did with it. I think they tossed it, which is a shame, because it was when you drive on Northwestern Avenue in Chicago, you see that, and it's Z Frank. I have a feeling it's been scrapped, so we never know. Okay. Next post was last week Bobby Rydell died. He was a singer from the late 50s and early 60s. He was marvelous, and he had a lot of hits. Wildwood, I believe that's one of his first hits. It was Wild One, and doing the cha-cha-cha. And he starred in a movie. I don't know if it's his only movie, maybe, but it's his I think it's his first starring role, I guess. Major role in Bye Bye Birdie in 1963. He sang and danced with Anne Margaret. I've seen it a few times on cable. It's a wonderful movie, nice, wonderful songs, dancing. It starred also Janet Leigh and Dick Van Dyke, and he sang in the song. I don't remember if he danced. I don't know, but he did sing a song. Famous for Put on a Happy Face, and let's see who else. Ed Sullivan, and of course Paul Lynde. Famous actor. He makes me laugh every time I see him on TV. He was wonderful, wonderful. And it's a shame that Bobby Rydell died, because he had a talent. He had a talent that was very beautiful. Yeah, tremendous, and great voice, and very handsome, and girls were crazy about him. They really were at the time. And so he was still performing, as far as I know, until maybe a couple years ago. So that's good. And he got together with other singers. He was from the Philadelphia area with Frankie Avalon and Fabian. They got together. So that was nice. Very nice. So they probably sang their old hits, their classics. So my condolences to the family. Okay, next up, I posted a photo of Sears department store, and this one was located in Park Forest Plaza in Park Forest, Illinois. And the plaza is not there, not a mall. It's a few stores, but when I saw that picture of it, it was gorgeous, beautiful. That plaza, that shopping mall had everything. They had Marshall Fields, I know that, and other Goldblatt's, they had that, Kresge's. Yeah, and they mentioned on the news the other day, when Kresge's turned into Kmart, they had 4 stores. Now they're down to 3. They closed one in New Jersey. So I think it's 2 in New Jersey, 1 in Miami, Florida. Lots of the Kmarts. The ones in Chicago are gone. Gone. So I saw, and when I posted this photo of the Sears store in Park Forest, Illinois, people remember when you enter the store at the entrance, you could smell the peanuts, fresh roasted peanuts or popcorn like that. And that's the same thing with Venture. They mentioned this on the news. It was funny that, when you walk in, you smell the popcorn. Oh, I remember that. But Sears did that with the peanuts, the fresh roasted peanuts or the popcorn. I remember that. So that's sad. But it's a gorgeous photo. So if you check out on my Facebook page, you will see it. Okay. Next up, last week was the opening day for the Chicago Cubs, and I found packets of chewing gum that had the Cubs logo. I remember seeing this. I asked my brother about this, and he remembered. I don't know what flavor it was, probably regular, I guess. And, so that was interesting. People who are not Cubs fans, they will sometimes they get a little nasty. and that's how it is. It's competitive. It's too competitive when it comes to sports. You're a Cubs fan, fine. If you're a Sox fan, fine. Same thing with football. Same thing with basketball. Well, I think it's more intense with football, and then probably the same with the sports, with the Cubs. So, there's a rivalry. The Cubs on the north side, Chicago White Sox on the south side, but, it's vice versa. Yeah. So I'm glad. But they won. So that's good. Excuse me. Anyway, so I found this on eBay and I posted it. So it's very interesting. Next up, I found a interesting item. It's from the Sound Warehouse Music Store, and it's a wooden crate kit from the 1970s. And you put it together and you use it as an end table or any type of table or shelves, or you can stack your vinyl records. I remember seeing these, and I think Peaches Records and Tapes had the same thing, or other record store, excuse me. But this is a crate, and then it was unopened. So you put it together. But vinyl is made a comeback. People love that. And I also heard that VHS cassette tapes are making a comeback. I hope so. I got a lot I used to have a large collection, but I donated, but I still have a few around. So, but the Sound Warehouse store, they were all over the Chicagoland area. They were there for a long time, 70s and 80s. Okay. Next up, I found something interesting. It's a box of cakes of soap, soap bars from the Fair department store. I found this on eBay and untouched, never used, and they look beautiful. And the Fair department store was a store. It was there for a long time, but it went. Montgomery Ward bought it, and they turned all the remaining Fair stores into that. And a lot of people remember that store downtown, also in Evergreen Park and in Oak Park, Illinois. And they said it was a good store. From what I heard from people, they had an interesting Christmas display, and which was I would love to see that if I was much older. So, but they said it was a good store. And it was there, I think, around the same time as Marshall Field's, but it was one of the oldest stores that opened in Chicago, and like Boston's store. If anyone ever heard of that store, that's an oldie, way old, like that. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, the last thing I posted. Oh no, a couple more was. Magicist. It was a book called 300 Household Hints. And believe me, some people need that today, like people I know. It gives you tips and advice how to clean your house, make your house clean and all that, or how to get rid of stains on a rug, stuff like that. And Martha Stewart tells you stuff like that, or you watch any show on cable. They would give you like or any regular, and people that get on talk shows and they talk about that. Some are very useful, some are very helpful, but Magicist, that's a good find. Everyone remembers the lips on the expressway, especially the Dan Ryan or on the Eisenhower or on the Kennedy. You remember those, the kiss of beauty. That's their slogan. And it was a wonderful company. People missed that. Next up, last thing I found a photo of a cake. And it's from the Bernie Brothers Bakery, credited by Donna Friedrichowski Lindgren. I apologize, Donna, for not crediting to you, but I did. But thank you for letting me know. And it was a communion cake. And the reason I posted that is the box. It's the pink box. It was famous for Bernie Brothers, and they're gorgeous. So those are hard to find. They're tough to find. So once I posted that, people remembered the beautiful box. And Bernie Brothers had their own company. They were standalone, and then you found them in Jewel food stores until like in the late 70s, and then they were gone, which is a shame because their cakes and their pastries and donuts and cookies were delicious. Okay, so that's all for the posts now, and right now I will talk about Mr. Donut. And Mr. Donut, I remember this place very well. I'll give you a little history of that, and I remember who found the company and my memories and where it is now today. So, Mr. Donut was a chain of donut stores. First, it was founded in the United States in 1956. And it was founded by Harry Winokur. I think I pronounced his name. And I think it was founded in Boston, I believe. I'm not sure. So his brother-in-law, his name was William Rosenberg, and he was the founder of Dunkin' Donuts. And they were into partners. And so Harry Winokur created Mr. Donut and with his son-in-law in the same year. And they started opening in the United States all over. And it just exploded. They were very popular, and they were competitors. They really were, or maybe they were. I don't know. It's kind of tough to figure that out. And I remember the locations. I think I went once to Mr. Donut, and one location was in Oakland, Illinois, and probably in the 70s. And I think it was like on Cicero Avenue, I believe, near Southwest Highway. I'm not sure. I could tell if it was better than Dunkin' Donuts. Maybe not. I don't know. So I found an ad in the Chicago Tribune of locations, and this ad is from 1972, and I'm sure there were others. They expanded more as time went on, and they had a few places in Chicago and also in Carpentersville, Downers Grove, Elmhurst, Glen Ellen, LaGrange, Lombard, Morton Grove, Mount Prospect, Olympia Fields, Palatine, and Wheeling. Okay. And in 1971, they opened one in Japan, in Osaka. And they opened a training center, and that was popular as well. And then they expanded, and they went through other countries in Asia, China, I think, Indonesia, and most of the Philippines, Thailand. So, like I said before, it was very popular. And then expanded worldwide. Okay. Then and also they opened in Canada. Then in 1989, they were acquired by a company. It was a corporate giant called Allied Lions, and they acquired Dunkin' Donuts also, and that became a subsidiary. And also Mr. Donut, too. And they've started closing all the franchises in the United States. I think about running in the mid 80s, late 80s. So after about 1990, they were gone. So you wouldn't find them anymore, which is a shame. Interesting enough, there is one store left in the United States. I've seen this many times on my Facebook page on Van Chicagoland that they said there is a location in Godfrey, Illinois. It's a town outside of St. Louis, Missouri. And it's still there, as far as I know. So I checked on Facebook. They have a Facebook page. And believe it or not, it's still there. So if you're in the St. Louis area, go have a donut. See how it is. I don't know if it tastes the same as before. So that's interesting, But, some people say, well, Mr. Donut's still in business. True, it is still in business, but not here. It's not in the United States. I mean, maybe just one location. Just like I mentioned about Kmart. There's 3 locations there, but most are gone. And Sears is gone. So, they're not as prominent as they used to be. Okay. So, let's see. And, they had all kinds of varieties of flavors, plain, powdered jelly donut, whatever you want. French crawlers, like that. My favorite is Bavarian and coconut. I love that. I'm sure they made those. And so they also made coffee. They had their own brand of coffee. And I saw a few items on eBay. They had in cans, also, ground. You could. I think you bought them at the stores. You bought them at the shops. I don't think you saw them at grocery stores. I don't think so. And so I don't know how the coffee was. Never bought it. Never bought it at all. Okay. That'll be all for today. For today's program, I discussed last week's post on Van Chicagoland. Also, I covered Mr. Donut donut shops. It was interesting. I did a lot of research, and I found it very fascinating about that. And to me, donuts is one of my favorites. My favorite breakfast. It's not good for you, but it is. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining me today. I will do another podcast episode this weekend. It's Easter weekend. Not my Easter. My Easter's the following week. I'm Greek Orthodox. So I'll celebrate Palm Sunday. We'll see if I go to church or not. Health-wise, I'm doing better. Still the same. So we'll see. Okay. And like I said before, I will do another podcast episode this weekend. So thank you again for joining me. This is Picastanas, and this is episode 120 of season 5 of Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. So long, everybody. And here is Ray Rayner saying bye-bye for now with a little traveling music. Take care, everybody. Bye.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.